So at the end, what I feel is that people that I feel they are powerful, it's because I think, no, it's my perception about them. I feel that they are confident on what they are saying and also on who they are. So at the end, my thought is that this comes from their own self-esteem or their own perception of their identity, etc. And that they have like a robust self. So what happens around can affect they more or less, but I would say they are like strong, no? So things happen around them, and they can take things from outside and adjust, opinions or whatever. But it's not that what happens on the outside make them break and fall down.
An enormous welcome to season 2 of the Power Talks. Thank you so much for being here. From my heart, I'm really grateful that you pressed play today. You're very, very welcome here. So this podcast is dedicated to amplifying the voices of female leaders who speak English as their second, third, fourth, fifth language. I want to raise consciousness around what power looks and sounds like. Ultimately, what power can be. I'm interested in examining the blocks and the barriers that women experience when it comes to expressing power, authority, expertise, and how that intensifies when we add English. And I'm also interested in how we can break through those blocks, break through those barriers, let go of inherited limitations, and learn to connect to personal power, and from that place, skillfully communicate and therefore lead with absolute authenticity. So I have some incredible guests this season. I'm really excited. Thanks again for being here, and let's go. Okay, so for our second episode of the second season of the Power Talks, we have Clara Gil Ginesta. So she is a people-oriented person and a dedicated HR professional. She's passionate about human behaviour and organisational culture. She's worked with companies like Mercadona, Danone and PepsiCo, and she's currently the talent and culture advisor in Ferrer. She says that she loves connecting with people through a good conversation, which we definitely had in this interview, or through a good dance. There's more of that later in the interview too. So we talk about many things as usual. We talk about the shift that's happening in terms of definitions of power and perceptions of power and leadership. Very interesting. We talk about real English versus international English. We talk about being generous with non-native speakers. We also talk about, as women, what it means to be perceived as nice, right? And why we have a kind of obsession with behaving excessively nice. We also talk about how we can overcome being self-critical and the importance of trying again. All right. Clara leaves us with a really lovely lesson she learned from dancing bachata. And yeah, enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it. So the first thing that I will do is say thank you. It's a huge pleasure to have you here today, and I'm very excited about this conversation.
Me too, and thank you very much because we're going to have, I think, a very interesting conversation, and also gave me a lot of food for thought. But we will see it later. But yeah, I'm very grateful to be here, and also for the questions as well. Yeah.
All right, brilliant. So I'm going to start then with, well, firstly, what I'd like to do is just, could you, in your own words, explain to the listeners like what it is that you're working on right now, what is motivating you right now, where you are right now, professionally in your life, just so that you can, in your own words, you can tell the listeners, where you are.
Okay, professional terms. Okay, I'm a professional of human resources, of a people function. I've been working in different areas in the function, but now I'm focused on what has to do with cultural engagement, and also very focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So depending on the culture, no, in the companies, etc. But this is very important that if you work on diversity and inclusion, as I'm doing right now, this needs to be embedded in the culture. If not, there's makes no sense to work on the culture on one side and inclusion on the other side, because if I don't feel included by my manager because of whatever, no, I'm not going to feel included as a female or as a whatever is my condition. So I'm working on this, and for me, it's very meaningful because I feel that my work has an impact on people. And also, these people, when they finish their work at the end of the day and they shut down the computer, they afterwards they have a life, and maybe the impact that we are creating on them through the company, they can have this impact as well on the society. So this is very optimistic, no, about my work, about what I do, but I really feel grateful that I can work on something that can have this impact. Maybe we're not having it, but I want to think that sometimes we do have this.
As you know, I'm a very purpose driven professional as well. And as you know, I'm fascinated with the female experience when it comes to women who speak English as their second language, right? And how it is that they feel powerful. Actually, that's this is. So I did research. I've been researching this now for some years, and I interviewed over 1,000 female executives, right? And 90.7 of them, 90.7%, which is massive, said they feel that they lose some of their power when they have to speak in English, right? But more importantly and more surprisingly, 74% of them said that it had nothing to do with the language. So, my first question for you today, right, is does that resonate with you? Like, do those statistics, can you identify with that? Like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I definitely think that when we speak a second language, we miss some of the resources that we have in our own language. So when we want to deliver a message, we can deliver the message, but maybe we are not able to deliver the message in the specific right way, no, in the approach that we want to do it, because we don't have full resources to do it. So yeah, I think that when we change languages, we are not at our full potential in terms of communication.
Right, okay. And so that for you, it obviously it influences the way that you communicate, right? And so then it gives you less access to power. Is that fair to say?
Well, this connects with what we were talking before. What is power, no? And yeah, yeah, actually, I've been reflecting on this because this is the key for everything that we're going to talk about, I think. And it's not an easy question because I think, well, my thoughts around this are that our image of power is connected to something that it's not real. What I mean is, if I ask myself, what is power for you? Probably the first image that comes to my mind is a white man dressed in a suit with a tie, in a conference room, no, in a meeting, being the manager and giving not orders but maybe instructions, no, or guidance or something like this. But then I reflected, no, this is not real. I mean, it's not in my daily basis. I don't identify power with this. So I thought, what is really no? What I when I see someone that I think this person is powerful and I admire, no, this person. I want to have this thing that this person has. Um, I've been reflecting that it's more connected on the way I think this person feels about themselves. So yes, yes. Let me explain a little bit about this and see if you agree or what are your feelings. Um, when I see someone that I feel this person is powerful, my feeling generally is that this person is very connected with himself or herself in the way that she or he is sure about who he or she is, their own identity, and they're confident on what they think and what they say. At the end, what I feel is that people that I feel they are powerful, it's because I think, no, it's my perception about them. I feel that they are confident on what they are saying and also on who they are. So at the end, my thought is that this comes from their own self-esteem or their own perception of their identity, etc. And that they have like a robust self. So what happens around can affect they more or less, but I would say they are like strong, no? So things happen around them, and they can take things from outside and adjust, opinions or whatever. But it's not that what happens on the outside make them break and fall down. So this is when I started thinking of power. I end up thinking of this.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree 1,000%. Is that it, absolutely like it's something? It's a quality, isn't it? That is that you trust yourself, and it's something. It's a quality that before a person even opens their mouth, you can sense it.
Yes, I feel it's a perception. At the end, it's not that people are powerful, it's that we think they are powerful. And depending on this, we behave in a different way with them. No, we admire them more and we give them more credit.
That is so interesting.
Talking about credit, I think it's also very something that I admire a lot. No, I admire from these people that I feel they are powerful is that um, they we don't expect them to be right or wrong. Sometimes we expect us, no, we want to be right because it's like I gain power, I gain authority if I'm right all the time. I don't think we all judge people expecting them to be right. If you find someone who's powerful, you think this person is powerful, yeah, you accept that people are not sometimes right, sometimes wrong, and it's okay. This person will not position themselves uh, as someone who's always right. It's just I'm giving my opinion, and I'm open to change my opinion. No? If you give me reasons or whatever, then make me change.
Yes. Yeah. I think we're in this really amazing moment where all of these traditional ideas that we've had, right, about power, you said it, no, the automatic, the immediate image that comes to your mind is, white man, in a suit, in a conference, giving orders, right? Like that's the automatic idea that comes to our mind when we think about power. But I think we're in this beautiful, incredible moment where all of that is being challenged and being redefined, and we're starting to see that actually that is just a concept, like it's a mirage, it's not real, it's something else, and we're in this place where we can actually, this is something that informs my work. Well, I want to be a part of redefining it so that we've got very, very different ideas in our mind of what power is, what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it can do, what it's for, and yeah, it's a really interesting moment, I think.
Yeah, I feel that this is changing, and I'm very happy, that people like you are helping the change to separate what is range in a professional, no, in an organization. The level, the category, the range doesn't give you power. Uh, so there's something that I'm very happy as well is like demystifying that professional status give you power because maybe you don't have a high level, but you have the power to move people. No, there are some people that say, "Hey, let's do this all together," and they move all the people, no, and the people join. And there are some other people that maybe are higher level or whatever, and they say, "Hey, let's do this." And people don't move, or if they move, it's because you are my boss, no, and you're saying we're doing this and we are doing this.
Yeah, that is also something that I'm interested in, though, that thing of, right, when, because when you have that kind of power that has been given to you by by your position, right, and you, when you do give an order, it's based on a hierarchical, okay, you have to do this because I'm the boss and I said so. And what happens within that is that the people that are then obeying that order, they're not giving them full selves to the task, right? And they're just doing it because they have to, but they're not giving you access to their resources, their brilliance, their genius. You know, that's kind of, they keep that out of the way. And I think now when I think about what power is, it's being being able to, with another person, create an environment where they are willing to give you all of their inner resources so that you're collaborating. It's regenerative. You know, I feel powerful, and therefore so are you. I want your full self here. We're going to collaborate together. It's like this regenerative feeling that we all get to grow and create something really meaningful, you know, where we're all in it together. Yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't be more agree with this. And actually, this is something in organizations that is, we have been working on this, but we still have a lot of room for improvement. It's how we change bosses into leaders, no? Not only in organizations, also in society in general. But if you give instructions to someone, if someone is going to do the thing as you are saying, but if you give them the room, no, the space for being themselves, for having ideas, for bringing the whole self with the passion, no, and with all the potential that this person has, the result will have nothing to do.
So now I want to get into you with language now, and thinking about English as a second language and how that interferes with you. You spoke about it a little bit at the beginning, that when we are working in a second language, it interferes with our way. You know, we can't quite fulfill our absolute potential when we're doing that, right? Or that's the perception that people have, that's the belief that people have, I think. So I wondered for you personally, like when you are speaking in English in a professional environment, how does it actually affect the way that you communicate? What happens to your communication then?
Mhm. Well, first of all, as I was saying at the beginning, I feel that I cannot deliver the message in the specific way I would like to. This is not a big issue because at the end, my English is enough to communicate, which is at the end the objective of the conversation. But it's true that sometimes, and particularly when you need to deliver a message that is sensitive, or you need to impact on something or influence, etc., depending on the person, the message arrives much better if you communicate in a way or in another way. So when you are in your full potential in your own language, you can adjust these small things so you can adapt to what the other person needs. So you can be, for example, more detailed, more soft, more whatever, or more straight to the point, or more whatever, depending on the audience. What happens to me in English is that I can deliver the message, but I cannot do these little adjustments because I don't have the resources. No? This is something that, depending on the environment that you are working, can make a difference or not. And my personal opinion, my personal experience here is that I've been mostly working in international environments. This makes that even all of us are working in English, but most of the people are not native in English. So at the end, and this is a sentence that some friend told me years ago, there's the real English, no, and there's the international English, and it's something that I feel that she's right. It's let's say a language that we all speak, but it's not a native speaker can understand, of course, and communicate, but it's not real English. It's an English that it's useful for delivering messages, for communicating, and there's a general understanding that as we are not speaking our own native language, we're not being exactly the way we want to be. So my feeling, this is my perception, everything that I'm saying, is that at the end you give more credit to the other person in terms of what they are trying to say more than what they are exactly saying. So at the end, if you are not understanding 100%, or maybe you think, oh, you're being a little rude, no? Like you are being too direct, or you are using this word that is more informal than should be in this meeting. We are understanding, no, in general terms, that it's because we are not native speakers. So at the end, I feel that we are all giving more space for little errors, no, or little adjustments that we do in our head when we listen to this other person. So what I have felt so far is that sometimes, for example, Spanish versus other cultures, we tend to be very direct in our communications. So this is something connected to culture, but in addition, we have the language barrier. So sometimes I have the feeling that I'm saying things like super straight because it's my no my culture, and also my tools only allow me to be super direct to the message. And sometimes I feel the person in front of me like, what, like, no, this first reaction, that maybe they're feeling not that I'm being aggressive, but maybe they're not expecting me to be like this because I'm a very smiley person, I'm very nice, whatever. But sometimes my messages are very direct, no? So what I try to do here is to compensate a little my English tools on the one hand with my behavior with people. And this is something that I've been reflecting as well. And I want to share with you also to know
Please
your
do.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
Well, I think that in general, I'm a nice person, this first of all, which is good to think of this about me. But it's true that I have found myself behaving in an extra nicer way when I'm in a meeting with native speakers in English, or with people that are from around the world and they are also speaking in English with me. So I try to be super nice. So, sorry?
It's fascinating.
Okay, yeah, maybe it happens to many.
Go on, because I want
Okay,
a question after. Go on, go on.
yeah, so I'm nice in general, but it's true that I feel that maybe I'm trying to be no a little more nice when we start a meeting, or more smiley or whatever. So if my communication at the end is more direct than my intention, people will no compensate one thing when with another, saying, ah, she's being too direct, maybe, but she's super nice. So I assume that she is not wanting to be rude or a little aggressive or whatever with the communication. It's just she has no 100% resources in English. But this is in my mind. I don't know if in their minds is the same or not.
I'm jumping in here. So I asked Clara, why is it that women have that voice in their heads telling them that they need to be perceived as nice? Why is it important to us that people think that we are nice? And we recorded this interview during the American presidential campaign last year. And so we started talking about Kamala Harris. So let's continue the conversation there. Immediately, the first thing that you start reading about is her likability. And we're still in this place where women have to be liked, and but women are judged by how likable they are, and we've bought that's in our we have that in our swimming around in our unconscious minds. Oh, I need to be nice, I need to be liked.
Well, for sure, we are not um, judged by society in the same terms, depending on the gender. And I think this is something that it's kind of obvious, no? Doesn't mean that everything is easy for men. No, I'm not saying this. I mean, we are all judged, no, in different ways, and we should uh, try to change this, because at the end, what we are doing is try to put people into buckets, and sometimes it's not our bucket, no. But uh, about this, I wanted to share something with you that happened to me recently. And it's about how I communicate, no, in English. I started, and also about what they are thinking of me. Should I be nice? No, all these thoughts that we have that are they useful or not? In your conference, there's something that really impacted me. That it's you are wait, I don't know the exact words, but you are focusing on what other things that other people think of you. So you are investing a lot of energy on this when you really need to invest energy on other things, no? And this makes me feel a lot. So what I wanted to share is two thoughts that I had in the last years, last month about this. The first thought is that, of course, as I speak English as second language, I don't feel full confident speaking in English. And this has been an evolution. At the beginning, where I used not to talk much in meetings because I was not sure. So then I evolved. Of course, this is a way that you walk. So at the beginning, you are not sure. Then you say, okay, I need to say this. So if I'm not sure, I have to say it. So find a way, no? And lately, my first thought, and I'm laughing a lot. You will understand when I tell you the second thought. My first thought is I changed my mind and I said, okay, if I'm having all this trouble when I'm talking to you in this meeting because I'm not feeling, because I'm not native speaker, my first thought is my English is more than enough to communicate, to understand, to deliver the message, to whatever. No, I'm more than enough in this way to do the job. If you are focusing on that I'm not saying the right preposition, the right pronunciation in that word or whatever, if you are focusing on this instead of the interesting, super interesting things that I'm saying, it's not my problem, it's your problem. And this is the first thought that I had saying, this is not my problem. No, I'm worrying for something that it's not um, on my control area. So it's you who's deciding on what is focusing. This is my first thought. And this gave me like a lot of power saying, okay, I'm getting rid of this burden, no? Like, it's not my problem.
Brava.
But then I had a second thought. Yes. And I'm going to share because I think it's even more powerful than the first one.
Let's go.
Yes, making this exercise, but changing the roles. This is something that I really like to do because sometimes give me a lot of new information. No, this means, for example, I work with a lot of colleagues that are from Italy, and they are working 100% in Spanish because we are in the same team and we communicate in Spanish because I don't speak Italian. When we are always speaking in Spanish, sometimes they make a little mistake and they use a proposition that it's not the right, or a connector it's not the right, or whatever. But when this happens, my thinking, no, my first reaction is not, "Huh, you did the wrong, whatever," no, or "Huh, no, this is not what I do." My reaction is like, first of all, I'm understanding everything that you are saying perfectly. Second, this reminds me of how well you speak Spanish. So when you do a little mistake, I can identify the little mistake. So I'm instead of focusing on the 1% that you are doing wrong, what I do is realizing that you are 99% right all the time, which is amazing because it's not your language. No. And the third reaction that I have is how grateful I am that you are speaking my language because I don't speak yours. So if it was not because of you, we were not able of having this conversation. So what I try, yeah, no, this is true because at the end we generally tend, and this is something that I'm trying to be very aware with myself and with others, is we don't treat others as we treat ourselves. We are super hard on us and we are not that hard on others because if we were, we will have no friends. If we treat others like we treat ourselves, we will be alone, no? Because people would say, you are not being good for me, so I'm leaving. So what I'm trying to do is to do the exercise on the opposite way. So at the end, my reflection when I talk to someone who's speaking second language is absolutely positive when they have a little mistake. So my first thought saying it's not my problem, it's you if you're focusing on the wrong proposition instead of the interesting message. This second thought helped me to think that probably they are also having the same thought when I do this little mistake. So this helped me a lot on stop thinking about all this, no, as you were saying.
There's a podcast that I listen to that's called The Guilty Feminist, which is just a really great podcast about feminism and how we're, you know, it's very contradictory and all of these different things. It's very funny. It's comedians that do it. This amazing woman, Deborah Francis White, and she does this really funny little sketch about the inner voice that we have, no, and how just how cruel how cruel it is to us to ourselves, no, like if we just the way that we talk to ourselves sometimes is just horrible. And exactly as you said, we would never talk to our friends like that. We would never talk to colleagues in the way that we talk to ourselves. And I do, yeah, it's comedy at the end of the day, but it's good to be able to that understanding that and actually working to stop doing that is so important. You know it's the path to freedom. Like, have you had a situation where you've kind of been blocked, or you felt like kind of minimized or something, and what did you learn from that?
Yes, well, absolutely yes, of course, and many times. It's true that I feel it's also more often for me to happen when I speak in English than when I'm in my native language. And also, that I have something that I have realized is that I feel more blocked. Okay, let's go step by step. First of all, I feel confident both in one-to-one conversations, but also in broader audience, like meeting of 40 people or whatever. So, generally, I feel comfortable in both situations. That it's not always the same for everyone. But when it comes to doing this in English, it's true that I feel more comfortable in one-to-one than in broader audience. So when I'm in this 40 people meeting, for example, generally in Spanish, I would feel more confident in doing some small commentaries to, for example, break the ice at the beginning or to give some dynamics to the meeting that I'm not confident in English. So at the end, what I do is these small comments that they are not crucial for the meeting, but they can change a little the meeting. I'm generally tend not to do them. So there's a part of me that I feel it's good, it's a strength, let's say, that I can make these adjustments in the meeting when this is happening in a kind of natural way and I feel comfortable. That, of course, I feel blocked in when I change languages. No? So I lose this small power that I have no? When I change to English. This is something that I not yet achieved to change. It's true that I'm improving, and of course, I feel that most, I would say absolutely everything, but maybe 90% of things in life is about training and about learning by doing. So maybe in 5 years or in 2 years' time, I will be super capable of doing this in English as well. So what I'm trying to do is try. If I fail, no, I say something, it's not working. Well, it's not big
Yeah,
issue.
yeah, brava.
So I'm trying to, of course, this happened to me. I get blocked, but my learning is if you don't try, you will always be blocked. If you try, maybe the first 7 times they are not going to work, but at the time number 8, this is going to work. So you need to keep trying.
learned, like through your professional life, what have you learned that's had a really positive impact on the way that you communicate that you could share with listeners?
Um, I would share first. Uh, it's not a metaphor. It's something that happened to me. I like to dance, and it's something that I learned dancing, and it's something that I
Oh,
have applied in general life.
okay.
It's I dance bachata, which is a Latin dance,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Beautiful.
yeah, you like it. Which I'm passionate
Of
about
course.
this. So
Oh.
this is a dance where you dance in couples, and I
Mm,
learned to do the follower role. So the other person is the leader, no, when you are dancing. What happened to me is something that I realized when I was dancing. It's a dance that you need a lot of connection with the other person. You need a lot of understanding because the person who is leading is giving you the instructions, so the follower follows the lead. No,
mm,
so if this connection is not working, the dance is terrible because one person is doing something, the other person is doing something else. No, but if you find this connection, it's super beautiful and it's magic. What I learned is that when you are dancing with someone, uh, appearances they are not always real, and I'm going to explain. When you dance with
yeah.
someone, it's very nice to dance with someone who's smiling, who's looking at you, that has a relaxed face, no, and everything is fluid and everything works, no, like in a natural way. This is marvelous. This is fantastic, and this is the
Mm,
purpose. What happens? Sometimes you dance with someone that has a serious face, that is like not looking at you, like with a face that it's not giving you the sense that everything is working well. No? So my first assumption was like, oh, this person is not enjoying the dance. Maybe I'm not understanding what because leaders generally are men, but I dance with women as well. This person is leading something that I'm not understanding, so I'm not following the right way, whatever, no? Like, this is not working. And this is my first perception, my first reaction, like, oh, this is not working for you, I'm sorry. But then the song finishes, and you give two kisses, which is the Spanish way of saying goodbye, you know? And it's like, oh, thank you for the dance. It was amazing. I really enjoyed. Wow, if you don't mind, I would like to dance with you again later. No, and it's a surprise, no? I saw you like with this face, like this is not working well, and now you're saying that everything.
interesting.
Yes. So this happened to me a lot. What happened? I realized that the person who's leaving, if you are not an experienced dancer, you need to do a lot of things at the same time. It's like when you start driving, no? So the person who leads needs to be on the right rhythm, needs to move the right foot on the right time and the right place. At the same time, all this in half a second, no? He or she needs to be thinking what is going to be the next movement of the couple. So he or she needs to move your arm, no, the arm of the follower, uh, mm, half of a tempo before, so the follower can react. So everything. So it's a lot of things at the same time. So if you're not experienced and you have not automated yet all this, you are focused
Yeah,
on what you have to do, which is a lot, no? And you are not focused on
yeah,
if you are smiling, you are not even enjoying because you are focused on this has to work.
yeah,
So this was what has happened. They were enjoying the dance, but at the same time, they were focusing on a lot of things at the same time. So I was feeling that this was not working, and at the end, it was working very well. And I only realized when this person told me. So my assumption was wrong. And this is something that happened to me, for example, in a training. I was delivering a training with an international group of people. They were like about 30 or 40. And there was a woman in the room that she was super serious, looking at me all the time, and in a way that I felt that she was thinking, I'm not following. I don't like anything that you are saying. I don't think this is useful. I think we're wasting our time here. This was my perception because she was very, I don't know, a serious face. And when we finished the training, she came to me and she said, Clara, I really enjoyed the session, and I really like the way you are, which is something very like, wow, no, the way I am. And I thought, what way I am? No, first of all, I don't know, but thank you, it was amazing, and this is something that it's not always easy to remember, but if you can remind of this when you are having this first impression and generally tends to be judging yourself, no, in the wrong way, maybe you are not reading in the right way what is happening. So just think of what you are reading, maybe it's not what it is, and generally you are always reading something that it's wrong with you, no, you are generally, we don't tend to think, oh, this is going fantastic, I'm the best person ever, whatever. So this is something that I wanted to share also because it's a learning, and that I try also to put in, no, in my general life, in all the context.
So what did you think? Did you enjoy that as much as I did? I hope so. Please feel free to join the conversation. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topics that we talked about today. And if you are a woman who speaks English as your second, third, fourth, fifth language, I really hope that you feel inspired to use your voice more. The world needs you more than ever. I would like to say an enormous thank you. Thank you to you for listening, and thank you to my guests who are always so generous, sharing their time and their experiences with us. I really, really appreciate all of you. I am on a mission to amplify the voices of women who speak English as their second, third, or fourth, fifth language. For me, this project and all of my work really is about actively and intentionally redefining what power looks and sounds like, what power can be. I want to contribute to normalising hearing power, expertise, authority in the voices of women particularly who speak English as their second, third, fourth, fifth language. If this is something that you would like to support, please like and subscribe. Share this podcast with your network. All of these little actions help to get visibility to the project. Also, feel free to contact me if you or the women in your organisation would benefit from power training, communication training in English. I am here to be of service. A link to my website is somewhere around. It's sarahjane.life. Okay, I hope to see you for the next episode. In the meantime, have a powerful few weeks.